All right, so today we're diving deep into superconductivity,
Ah,
but not the kind that needs a lab full of liquid nitrogen.
right.
We're talking room temperature, the
Wow.
kind of temperature where you and I can actually exist.
Exactly where we are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why are scientists so obsessed with this idea?
Well,
It could revolutionize how we use energy.
it could.
Imagine a world where electricity flows with zero resistance.
Okay.
That means no more energy wasted as heat during transmission.
Yeah, no more like losing power over long distances.
Right.
So just to like get everyone on the same page,
Yeah.
superconductivity basically lets certain materials conduct electricity with absolutely no energy loss.
It's like a perfect frictionless slide for electrons.
It is.
For decades, the biggest hurdle has been that most materials only become superconductive at extremely low temperatures,
Right.
hundreds of degrees below freezing.
Not practical.
Not at all.
So that's why this idea of room temperature superconductors has everyone so excited. And, sometimes a bit of controversy can actually spark major progress. Remember back in 2023, all the buzz about that lutetium-based superconductor?
Oh, yeah, I do indeed.
Yeah.
And while that specific claim was met with a healthy dose of skepticism,
Sure.
it did get researchers thinking in new ways.
And that's where a grad student at the University of Illinois Chicago comes in,
Okay.
Adam Denchfield.
Adam Denchfield.
He saw that controversy not as a setback, but as a challenge.
I like that.
Yeah, and he started digging into older research on rare earth trihydrides, looking for clues that others might have missed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what's fascinating is that Denchfield didn't reinvent the wheel.
No.
He took a fresh look at existing data,
Okay.
noticing some peculiar electrical behavior in these rare earth compounds that hadn't been fully explained.
So he had that classic aha moment,
Huh?
realizing that specific arrangements of lutetium, hydrogen, and nitrogen could be the key to unlocking superconductivity at much higher temperatures.
The structure's important. It's all about the structure of these materials.
Right.
Imagine a perfectly ordered three-dimensional lattice.
Okay.
Denchfield used computer simulations,
Yeah.
which are essentially powerful virtual experiments
Okay.
to explore how different elements would behave within this lattice.
And those simulations revealed something remarkable.
Interesting.
A lutetium hydrogen nitrogen compound with strong potential for superconductivity.
Wow.
Yeah, and his findings were so compelling they earned him a publication in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences.
That's a major journal.
It is.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just theoretical.
Huh?
Denchfield also presented experimental evidence to support his claims.
Wow, even the New York Times ran a story about his work.
Yeah, it's making waves beyond the scientific community when that happens.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing, Denchfield didn't stop there.
What did he do?
He wondered, okay, what if we swap out lutetium for other rare earth elements? So he started playing around with different combinations using elements like yttrium and scandium,
Wow.
always with the goal of pushing that superconducting temperature higher and higher.
That's where the concept of critical temperature comes in.
Right.
It's essentially the temperature threshold below which a material becomes superconductive.
Right.
Think of it like a switch that flips on,
Okay.
allowing electricity to flow freely.
Uh-huh.
Denchfield wanted to crank that switch temperature
Yeah.
as close to room temperature as possible.
And through his simulations, he designed 3 new cubic structures that showed incredible promise.
Interesting.
In these designs, the critical temperature for superconductivity jumped significantly,
How much?
reaching temperatures above negative 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Now, to be clear, these are still theoretical designs.
Sure.
They haven't been synthesized and tested in a lab setting yet.
Right.
Yeah.
We need to temper our excitement with a dose of reality.
Of course.
But the possibilities here are so vast, it's hard not to get caught up in the what-ifs. So let's explore those what-ifs. Let's imagine a world where Denchfield's designs pan out, and we actually achieve room temperature superconductivity.
I like it.
What would that world look like?
That's where things get truly mind-blowing.
Okay.
And that's where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive.
All right, sounds good. So we've set the stage. We know the potential of room temperature superconductors is huge, but what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, let's start with the most obvious energy.
Okay.
If we could transmit electricity without any loss,
Yeah.
our entire energy grid would become vastly more efficient.
Okay.
We're talking about a potential end to energy scarcity as we know it.
That's a pretty bold statement.
It is.
Can you break that down a bit?
Sure.
How would it actually work?
Think about it this way.
Okay.
Right now, a significant portion of the energy we generate is lost as heat during transmission.
Okay.
It's like trying to water your garden with a leaky hose.
Right.
With superconductive power lines. That leakage would disappear. Every electron would reach its destination, meaning we could power entire cities with far less energy than we currently use.
So less waste, less pollution, and potentially lower energy costs.
Yeah.
Sounds like a win-win-win.
Exactly. And it's not just about using less energy.
Okay.
It's also about accessing new sources of energy.
Right.
For example, imagine vast solar farms in the desert, beaming clean energy across continents with zero loss.
Wow.
It would completely change the economics of renewable energy.
Okay, so we've got a super efficient clean energy grid.
Right.
What else could we do with this technology?
One area that immediately springs to mind is transportation.
Oh.
We touched on maglev trains earlier.
Yeah. Those futuristic trains that float above the tracks using magnets.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And without the need for supercooling, the infrastructure for maglev lines would become much more feasible to build.
Okay.
Imagine traveling between cities at hundreds of miles per hour, silently gliding above the ground.
It sounds almost too good to be true.
It does.
What about other forms of transportation?
Sure. Could this technology electrify cars and planes?
Absolutely. Electric motors would become incredibly powerful and efficient with superconducting materials.
Okay.
We could see electric cars with ranges of thousands of miles on a single charge.
Wow.
And who knows, maybe even electric airplanes become a viable option.
So energy and transportation are revolutionized.
Uh-huh.
What about everyday technology?
Look, well,
Would our phones and computers change?
oh, without a doubt.
Also.
Imagine computers that are thousands of times faster than what we have today, all while consuming a fraction of the power.
Wow.
We could see a whole new era of artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
with machines capable of solving complex problems that are currently beyond our reach.
And what about medical technology?
Sure.
I've heard that MRI machines would become incredibly powerful with superconducting magnets.
That's right. We could get much more detailed images of the human body, leading to earlier and more accurate diagnoses.
And beyond imaging, there's the potential for new types of treatments using precisely controlled magnetic fields.
Okay.
We're talking about potential breakthroughs in treating cancer, neurological disorders, and a host of other diseases.
This is all pretty incredible stuff.
It is.
It's like we're on the verge of a technological leap unlike anything we've ever seen before.
I think so.
But I have to ask, would everyone benefit equally from this technology?
That's an important question, and it's where things get a bit more complex.
Okay. In what way?
Well, the initial cost of this technology would likely be quite high, meaning it might not be accessible to everyone right away.
Right.
We could see a widening of the gap between those who has access to these advancements and those who don't.
So it's not just about developing the technology, it's about ensuring that it's distributed equitably and that its benefits are shared by all of society.
Precisely. There are also questions about job displacement.
Right.
If entire industries become automated, what happens to the people who currently work in those fields?
That's a valid concern, it seems like, with any transformative technology. There's a need to anticipate and address the potential societal impacts.
Exactly. But with careful planning and thoughtful implementation, I believe we can harness the power of room temperature superconductors to create a more sustainable, equitable, and prosperous future for everyone.
It's definitely a lot to think about. And this brings us to our final part of the deep dive, where we'll explore what all of this means for you, the listener. Okay, so we've explored the science, we've glimpsed the potential, and we've even touched on the challenges. But what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
Why should you care about room temperature superconductors?
It's easy to get swept up in the excitement of these what-ifs, but,
Right.
it's important to connect it back to our everyday lives.
Exactly. And I think the biggest takeaway here is that this isn't just science fiction anymore.
No.
We're talking about a technology that, while still in its early stages, has the potential to fundamentally reshape the world as we know it.
And it all stemmed from the curiosity and determination of a graduate student,
Right.
Adam Dinchfield,
Adam
who
Dinchfield.
dared to challenge the status quo and dig deeper into an area that many had dismissed.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that groundbreaking discoveries can come from unexpected places.
Absolutely. And who knows what other scientific mysteries are waiting to be unlocked.
Right.
It makes you wonder what other seemingly impossible feats of engineering might become reality in the future.
It really does.
If we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
this research underscores the importance of continued investment in basic scientific research.
Absolutely.
We never know where the next breakthrough will come from, but by fostering a culture of curiosity and exploration,
Right.
we increase our chances of unlocking the transformative technologies of tomorrow.
I agree.
So to wrap things up, I have one final thought-provoking question for you, dear listener.
Okay, shoot.
If room temperature superconductors become a reality, what other groundbreaking applications can you envision? What would you do with this revolutionary technology?
It's a future brimming with possibilities,
It is.
and we can't wait to see what unfolds. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Thanks for listening.